Hey everyone, it's Mike and welcome to this presentation on the Orderflows Delta Scalper. Today is, I'm recording this on Sunday, it's July 8th, and I'm going to talk about what happened in the markets on July 6th on Friday, the non-farm payroll day. So before I begin, brief disclaimer, this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only, should not be considered a solicitation to buy or sell a futures contract or make any other type of investment decision. Futures trading contains substantial risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that could be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Tools I use in this presentation are the Delta Scalper and the Orderflows Trader. Mostly the Delta Scalper. This presentation is made for the Delta Scalper users or potential users. Now, just really quick, the settings. I'll go through the settings if you're not familiar with them. In this case, I'm using a look back of 25, negative delta strength of 2, positive delta strength of 2. The signal box height, that's this, is set to 2. The opacity is set to 25. The width, how long it is set to 15. And the signal mark displacement is where the up and down triangle appears, 2 price levels off, that's the 2. And I'm going to have it signal only on higher highs or lower lows. And this other stuff you don't need to worry about. A data series set up on each tick, calculates on each tick. The label is Delta Scalper, obviously. Maximum bars look back 256. Visual, this stuff you don't need to worry about. Again, if you have some other indicators that from someone else, and maybe the colors clash or something, like maybe you got them as the same colors, you can adjust it in here under the plots. You could change the color to whatever you want. I like royal blue. You could change it. I have it set to solid as the dash style. Plot style, triangle up. You could do all sorts of different things. Triangle up for a buy, or when it's the negative delta, a triangle down for a sell. I try to keep buys in the blue colors and sells in sort of the red, pinkish tones. The reason why I went with magenta on this is because I've got a few other things that I run that are also red. So I just don't want them conflicting. I'm so used to it as being magenta and royal blue already that my eyes are trained for it. So first, we'll start off in the Bunds, and again, I'm running this on a normal bar chart at the moment. And I'll just show you for Friday on the Bunds how it looked. This was Thursday here. Again, people say, well, you're not showing Thursday because it sucked. Well, on Thursday, you had this little trade here that was a winner, this little trade there, a buy that sort of went nowhere, and you had a nice sell here on Thursday morning. From the 160 to 42 area down into the 14 area, nice 30-point winner. So even though you had these little break-even trades in here, maybe a little scratch, and a small profit here, you had your 30-point winner there. But really, what I want to show you is Friday. So we started off Friday. Again, you're not going to take a trade 2 minutes before the close on Thursday. But anyway, Friday, you started off a nice little pop up here, nice little trade here. A little bit later, another nice trade coming in here. This one just sort of went nowhere, but now you're coming up on the non-farm payroll numbers, and I don't care if you have the greatest trading system in the world, you can't be involved during the number. Unless you're trading the number, you're not an economist, you're a trader. You trade based on prices, not economic predictions. Now, that's just something I learned very early on. I could see how back on the days when I was on the floor, really the only time the only phones that were ringing were the retail brokers' phones that were ringing. All the big traders were sitting on the sideline waiting for the number to come out and the market to digest it. Obviously the other traders, the locals in the pit, were active because they're making the markets and making their money. But you're not going to take a trade, boom, right when the number comes out, and you get a knee-jerk reaction. I don't. I see some people that say, "Oh, I like to trade the numbers." Well, yeah, when you guess right, it goes in your favor. But when you guess wrong, it'll go against you extremely fast, and by the time you get out, the market's really moved quite a lot. So, early on, before the numbers came out, you had a couple nice opportunities here. Early on, you could have even bought it on the pullback in here, and took a nice ride up. This nice 15, 20 ticks right there. Another opportunity here for another 15, 20 ticks. You're getting long at 162, 62, 63, 64, all the way up into, here's 70, and then, another push up into close to 80. And that's well before the number comes out. You could have taken one of those trades, and in the bunds it's 10 euros a tick. Then you don't have to worry about what the number is going to do and try to play catch up the rest of the day. Later in the day, this is around the cash close in the bunds, and you had a trade. It failed, then came right back with a nice little winning trade that would have covered your losses on that previous trade. Then you're going into evening time in Germany already. Here, this is noon time, Chicago time. Did this trade work out? Yeah, it worked out, but it's only talking a couple of ticks here, and obviously I don't think you'd be looking to take any sort of trade in interest rate on a Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock Chicago time. Cash markets are closed around the world. So next market we'll look at Nasdaq. And Nasdaq, again, this is a 1 minute chart as well. Let's give it a second here to get the signals here. So, just walk it back again. Nasdaq, when you're looking at stocks, I find it best to, especially when you're dealing with Delta, to stick to the main trading session. You can trade it, early morning, 6 o'clock is okay. Actually, most like S&Ps are probably, you pretty much trade those around the clock, but I prefer to trade them from European hours until the US close rather than mess around in the Asian hours. Just the liquidity isn't there. You do get liquidity that picks up during the Japan hours, but again, Japan goes on lunch for an hour, then things die down, so it's a bit here and there is the only way I'd put it. But again, if you're trading Nasdaq in the middle of the night, when you're dealing with something like Delta, right, you want something that's going to give you some solid Delta numbers. Now, just really quick, let's look. This is a 1 minute chart. We'll just take a look at the sort of volumes you're looking at the middle of the night here. You're dealing with volumes. When it gets to around 11 o'clock, 40 contracts, 90, 58, 79, 60, 115. That's a lot for that time. 45, 82, 11. This is a 1 minute chart. So you're getting some periods in here with very, very illiquid markets. 7 contracts traded, 13 contracts traded, and it's not going to really give you much information to trade off of. When you're talking with a bar with 7 contracts traded over a minute, you can't make a good trading decision based off of that. And then you got a bar here. It's got 13 lots, 7 lots, 19 lots, and 52, 55, 36, and it starts to pick up, but then it dies down again. Right after midnight, you got 97, 58, 60. Really what you want when you're dealing with any type of volume analysis or delta analysis is you want solid bars of volume. And for me, I just find it picks up around 2 a.m. when the European cash markets open up, and you start getting consistently better numbers. I feel here you're looking at 231. Now you're getting over 100 regularly. 294, 273, 100, 143, 152, 300, 300. 98, 100, 117. It's averaging better numbers. You do get some periods in here, 44, 45, 90. But nowhere near what you're going to get during the U.S. day session. Obviously, once the cash opens, 1,000 in a 1 minute period, 1,000, 800, 800, 1,300, 1,100, 900. I just find, I don't want to say it gives you truer readings, but like I said, anytime you're dealing with volume analysis and especially delta analysis, you want solid numbers. And I just find during the cash hours is the most liquid. It's going to give you more truer indications of what's happening in the market. That said, I'm not going to say, well, at 6 a.m. you could have taken this trade. No, was it a winner? Yeah, it was a winner, a small one. But again, I'm not really looking to trade Nasdaq at 6 in the morning. So anyway, when you get here into the 11 o'clock, 11:30, yeah, you had to sell here. It probably would have stopped you out. Again, it's when you're dealing with this Nasdaq, right? You know that this is a market that can move a lot, right? And so say you're getting short somewhere in here, call it 72.20, and it trades up to 23. 3 points. That's plenty of risk already. Because you take your loss, you're getting short here at 20, maybe you get stopped out at 20, 22. Okay, you wait for the next trade here. It's giving you the trade, somewhere in here. Say you're getting long, say you're getting late, say you missed this bar on the entry, getting late in here at 16. 16 all the way up to, I'm not gonna say you would have sold it up here, maybe up to here. 28 somewhere in here. 16, that's 12 points. So you lost 2 here, but you got 16 there. That's what you like to see as a trader. What else? Well, we'll look at euro currency. I don't think there are any signals in the euro currency on Friday on the 1 minute chart. Let me just take a look. Well, there's this one here at 3 in the afternoon, but again, I doubt you'd be looking to take a trade at 3 in the afternoon on Friday. Again, right ahead of the number. Yeah, it gives you a sell signal. But again, this is what you got to deal with, right? And that's what I talk about when I talk about not trading at the number. At some point you got to shut it off, because if you're going to take a trade here at 725, 726, how long are you going to hold it for? 2 minutes, a minute? Yeah, you can take a chance, but definitely you want to be off before the number. Yes, it can go in your way. Like here, how it moved from 75 all the way up to 118.20. Okay, it could have very easily sold off as well. But that's the chance you take. I mean, you're not an economist, and you don't know what the job numbers are going to be. Although under Trump, the job numbers have been very good. But again, you're analyzing what you're seeing in the market, and a very important piece of macroeconomic data is about to come out that's going to change everyone's views. So there's really no point, no need to stay in the market during that time period. Just get out. If you want, you can get back in later. But if you say you had a stop in here, okay, you put your stop. Say you got short, okay, it starts going your way. Market ticks up. You say you got to stop right here at 117.90. Okay, maybe you're getting filled, between 90 and 95, but chances are it's moving so fast. There's not much liquidity in there to fill your stop. There's probably some other stops in there. You're probably getting stopped out up here around 118 even. So, is it worth it? That's the decision you have to make. Me personally, I just know how the market reacts, and it's just not worth it to me to be trading around that numbers. Now people will say, oh, you're stupid. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Mike. Listen, I've been trading these markets since before there was a euro currency, since when it was a Deutsche Mark. That's when I started on the floor. It was when, that's the markets that I followed was the Deutsche Mark and the Swiss franc. That was where I worked in those currency pits. So, I know what happens when the numbers come out, and I know it's just not worth the effort and the heartache for the times that it goes against you in trading. Now, I'm curious. I haven't looked at the 8 range chart on some of these markets. Just haven't had a chance. But again, I showed you minute-based charts. Now I'm going to take a look at range-based charts here. See if there's any signals. No signals on Friday in the euro currency. There was a signal Thursday. It just sort of chopped on you. Now let's take a look again at those same markets that I just looked at. Nasdaq. Anything? Okay. Well, Nasdaq again, since I'll go back to the cash open. Yeah, go back further so you can see nothing going on here. So when the cash opened 8:30 here, this is, where is it? This is 8:30. You got to sell here, stopped you out. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Again, another sell over in here, from the 55 area, hit 45. Then just sort of bounced around. Later, didn't catch this big move. People say, well, you missed that big move. Well, this reads delta. It reads what's happening in the market. Maybe there wasn't anything in that delta at that time to give a legitimate signal, especially when the setting is set to 2 and 2. I have this one again set at delta intensity of 2. If it was set at 1, there may be a signal there. but I'm talking about setting of 2 and 2. Then you get another nice buy signal in here, from the 16 and 18 level all the way up into the 30s, well, 28, 30s. Got a little sell here right on the cash close. When you're trading on the cash close in equities, you tend to get big surges in volume. It's probably the most volume goes through on the cash close, more so than the cash open, because that's where people are trying to peg their closing to, as far as orders go. Like for the hedge funds, they like to target cash close, and they're not going to use the futures close, because futures just close, period. It's like, okay, it's 4 o'clock, boom, we close for the day, and wherever the last print was, that's where the last print was. But the big funds, they're always targeting cash close, the cash close level, because usually they're working equities, the underlying, against the futures as well. So that's why you tend to see a lot of volume going through. Like I said, the heaviest volume tends to go through on the cash close for the day. So what did you have? You had one little loser here, a decent winner here, another decent winner here. This one, again, it's on the cash close. Can you take it? Of course you can take it, but you can see the churn that's going through here on the cash close, where we're just trading between 28 and 30 for the next couple of minutes. So at best you would have got a couple points out of it. At worst you would have scratched it. But you had 2 great trading opportunities during the day in the Nasdaq. I didn't look at the Bunds. Well, Bunds I look at a 4 range chart anyway, not an 8 range chart. Bunds, again, this was Thursday here. This trade didn't work out, but then boom, right on the open, you had a nice little trade here. This one, again, it just it went down immediately into your favor, and then sort of rallied back up, and then just sort of hung around going into the number. This is, what time is this? This is 6:05, just before 6 o'clock, that you get the sell signal. It's a little early enough, but again, if you're going to hold it, you got to realize how long you're going to hold it to. You could hold it for an hour and gotten out by 7 for just a couple ticks. Now you got to realize, especially interest rates, which are highly sensitive to jobs numbers, leading up to the unemployment number, it's going to be quiet. And you can see how that was here if you expand this up. It's just sort of bouncing around. This is 6 o'clock here, and basically you're trading between, what is that, 74 and 79. So basically a 5-tick range until the job numbers come out, and then we start trading lower. Then we pop back up and go sideways and do what we did. So that's the Delta Scalper basically in a nutshell. I didn't really show you any order flow chart other than that one Nasdaq chart. I don't think I have it on this chart here. I don't have it on this chart either. I don't know if I got it on some of these. I mean, I could put it on here. Give me a sec. Or let me just go over here. Let's just add it on here, indicator, just so you can see. Again, I'll just take you through installing it here. So I'll set the look back to 25. This was set to 2 and 2, 2 and 2. The opacity set to 25. This one I had set to 15, and that was it. That's all you got to change, really. Again, you don't even have to change it to default 7, 1, and 1. You could use that as well. But if you want to be a bit more, what's the word? A bit more tighter, stronger. I hate to use those words, but you can. So just give it a second here. So I remember it was, where were we here? Just after the cash opened, it was. Okay, just give it a second here to come in. Let's see where it was here. Nasdaq. Oh. Yeah, what? I was looking at a 1-minute chart. Give it a second here. See if it's come up yet. So this is the 1 minute chart here. Can't remember where it was here on the 1 minute. So you can see here, this is that one that didn't work out, just sort of went sideways on you. You got your sell, and you can just sort of see it hanging around here before it finally worked out. But where was the other? So here was your buy here. You can see how it's just coming down. Even if you're watching the delta, you can sort of get a sense, get a nice sense of what's happening. You got some negative deltas, and you're starting to get some nice positive delta build up here. Even here, if you're reading the order flow, you've seen a couple nice things happening right around that delta scalper signal, right? You got this prominent point of control here, right here, this blue one. But then here you got multiple imbalances appearing. So you're seeing some nice things here. You're seeing even here, this one had a delta of 1. This here you got delta minus 1. But even this whole stretch in here, it's all nice positive deltas. That's encouraging, especially after you've got this nice little sell-off from the 72.22 area. Sell off 10 points down to 72.12. Then you're seeing buyers starting to come in here. That's nice and encouraging. Then the market works its way back up. Let's see how it looked on that. It was the 8 range chart. Sorry, that's my drink. So here you can see how it was on the cash close. You can see how the volume is really, getting nice and strong. 1,000, 200, and these, this is it's a range-based chart, so you can see how the volume is. You're talking 15 seconds. It's trading 1,000, 200. Over the next 1 second, 500. Over the next 9 seconds, 1,000. So you see going into the cash close, these are the cash close orders coming in. If you're getting short, maybe it's somewhere in here, 72, 30 and a half, 31, maybe, or even late here at 30. You do get a little move down, over the next, you're talking 30 seconds. But, when you're dealing with range-based charts, it's not time-based. So, the volumes will be a bit different. And so you're going to get some bars with heavy volume, some bars with lighter volume. Let's go back to that one buy that was there earlier. Let's see what we got going on here. So you can see how this is even nice, is how you can see how this delta is on the way down. Minus 120, minus 77, minus 21, minus 17, right on the swing low. Starts turning up, 131 positive, 83.10, 102. But you can see here how the selling is getting weaker, and then boom, you hit that low. The aggressive buyers came in. And what was interesting is, even if you're watching the max delta, min delta, right? Max delta tells you how the most positive the delta was in the bar. Min delta tells you the most negative it was in the bar. Even if you're comparing that. Okay, let me get this crosshairs thing off here. It's a pain in the butt. You see minus 121, and we settled at minus 120. Minus 77, minus 77, minus 29, settled at minus 21. You did have positive 44. Then minus 120 and minus 17. So what you're seeing here, all negative delta. Almost all negative delta. Minus 121, settled at minus 120. Minus 77, settled at minus 77. You had positive delta 1. That probably happened right as the bar opened. This bar was a little conflicted. Early on, you had positive delta of 44. So this bar was probably green early on. Then the selling came in, pushed it lower. Then this one, you had strong selling in here. Minus 120. Didn't turn positive, but it ended up at minus 17. So it was at one point, it was minus 120, and buying came back up, tried to push it to positive, and then the bar obviously finished. It's a range bar, so it moves based on price. And then you form the next bar, and you can see how it was 0 and 143 is the max delta, and 131 is the final delta. So what you're seeing in the delta, if you can just understand this delta for a second, what you're looking at, it's telling you that sellers were dominating here on the way down. Now you're seeing selling is dried up and buyers are starting to dominate on the way back up. And those are the types of setups that you want to look for. And as I said, that's why I created the delta scalpers, so you don't have to sit here and analyze this, especially when it's happening in real time very fast. Again, this is a range-based chart, and on range-based charts, like I said, 1336, 136, 137, 137, 139, it's happening lightning fast. And if you're looking at more than one market and more than one time frame, or chart type, like if say you got a range-based chart and a minute-based chart, you're going to lose your mind, because you're going to be having to look at 8 different charts and look for the one signal that's happening. But that's why I created the Delta Scalper that can run on a normal bar chart. So you can have different charts open up on your screens if you got multiple screens, and you can just see it. The Delta Scalper should have a no, nothing. Never mind. Back off of that. But so that way, trading is visual for me, and I like to sit back and look at the screens and see things, as they're appearing. And if I have something that's going to highlight an area to me, saying, hey, you know what? Based on what's happening in the delta, you got a nice buying opportunity. That's just going to make my analysis easier. That's why I create these tools. I don't call them indicators. I prefer tools, is because it helps me, in my trading, to make better trading decisions. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Go to my website, orderflows.com, or visit deltascalper.com if you're interested in that tool. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.